She walked down the aisle, heart racing, legs wobbling, breath fumbling, but she kept moving. Her eyes were focused on her groom, stood stage left with his suit tailored to perfection. She didn't even glance behind her to see who was holding the tail of her silver dress. She just trusted that she would get to her destination as practiced. Heart racing, legs wobbling, breath fumbling. For a second, she wondered whether there was a drum hidden in the depths of her chest, beating to an upbeat rhythm. She couldn't even hear the sound of the music around her. Eyes surround her, staring her down, and yet she didn't even notice. If her vision was a knife, it would have cut through the air that separated her and her groom. Her and her groom. See, they'd practiced this procession over and over again. The speed of the walk, the order of the ceremony, the placement of the guests, and being the peculiar person she was, she had it all down to a T. Planned down to a T, memorized down to a T, but he was the only thing on her mind. In this very moment, the thoughts of order, of seats, of protocol didn't even cross her mind, her and her groom. Right now, to them, those are the only forms of existence in their little world, and as they looked at each other, they felt moisture cloud their eyes locked with no sign of a key. He sniffled a bit, but tried to hold it in. He could feel his breath shallow and fast as he attempted to control his emotions. He was so utterly focused, he couldn't even smell the sweet scent of the flowers being thrown at the feet of his bride. His bride. He'd never seen anyone more beautiful, had never felt more blessed and in love than his bride. As he continued to battle his emotions and his eyes struggled to focus and his breath pursued instability, his best man looked at him. Initially out of pride and admiration, and then out of worry. Praying silently that this groom would not let his asthma get the better of him, his best man nudged him slightly, trying to get his attention, but the groom, he didn't even notice how long this moment seems. While for us, the audience, this may be a brief 5-minute process, each minute of a happy lover's hour is worth an age of dull and common life Afro-Bain. Cause see, I've never been in love. At least not with any 4D individual, but my parents, they make it so easy to imagine. They make it so tangible that you almost want to reach out your hand and touch it as though it were a holy cloak and you were bleeding a decade. That's a long time. 10 years to be exact, and that's the number of years my parents are celebrating as a married couple. 10 years of love and affection and hurdles they've managed to jump over together. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry once said that love does not consist of gazing at each other, but in looking together in the same direction. And if there's anything that my parents have ever taught me about love, it's this: that you don't need to be crazy while you're in love. That you could be smart, happy, and patient in it, because love is a state. Being crazy in love is a state. But love itself is a verb. Because love is like a fire. You have to keep it stoked. You have to keep feeding it coal or wood. You have to nurture it and give it time. And marriage is like the fireplace. Not every single one has a fire burning, but without a fireplace is like an empty shell. But my parents have the fire. And on that day 10 years ago, it was evident to see. As they continued to gaze lovingly at each other, longingly at one another, only breaking their staring contest to collect their rings, it was so clear that they were in love. That they share the type of love that makes warmth trickle down your spine until even your toes begin to tingle. The type of love that you read about in fairy tales. The type of love that engulfs you in its heat. And when love runs so deep like that, you may now kiss the bride. It's no longer just a kiss. It's now the place where heaven and earth meet. It was like they broke a spell. It was like one was Sleeping Beauty and the other was a prince, a lover's kiss. It was like they broke a spell. Suddenly their senses awoken again, and the cheers, they could hear it. The flowers, they could smell it, and the decorations of the ceiling of the Methodist church, they could see it. It was like a magic spell had been undone. But I guess love is kind of like that. Love is like magic. Or as me and my friends like to say, love is ghetto, because anytime I hear people talk about love, they say things like, oh my gosh, she's so obsessed with him. Or he's crazy in love, fam. Or if you like to read novels like I do, they like to use the term infatuated. People talk about love as though it were a curse, as though the idea of love were parallel to being cuffed, and love made you a prisoner to your own emotions. But my parents taught me that that's not the case. That you don't need to be crazy in love. That in a strong marriage, you can be smart, happy, kind, free, and patient in it.